Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for joining our hot deals today. Don't say bojo. I think there is two hot deals that you wouldn't want to miss if you plan to buy a property in this year. Even if you don't plan to buy the property in this year, right? I think you should at least join us and have a look and learn about it and then see whether it is something suitable for you or maybe suitable for some of your family or friends. To join our hot deals TalkProp team, right? I just need to have a minimum charge of 88 ringgit. The 88 ringgit, how do we use it? Actually, 88 ringgit, I can guarantee that the ROI that you get from this learning academy or learning platform, right, will definitely be more than 88. So how do you benefit from this? First thing, if you were to ready and buy this year, right, I will recommend you deals. I will do research and analysis, save your time and money so that you can actually summarize and make a better decision. So you save time and money, definitely worth more than 88 ringgit. Second thing, if you are not ready to buy, you are doing research, analyzing, you want to buy later, maybe this year, I can also help you to do research and analysis and see what are the good things to buy. Maybe I can buy it myself as well. And the third thing, there are people that are ready to buy, there are people not ready to buy. If they are not ready to buy, maybe they need to actually fix some of their financials before they are ready to buy. Maybe now they are actually earning cash, but they don't have proper documentation to prove that they have sustainable income. So in this way, we actually have to find way to address how do they get the loan to buy house. So that will probably take 6 months or even 1 year. Sometimes we have clients that we need to put in the fixed duration about 6 months to 18 months. And of course, lastly, if you are not into the buying category, maybe you are in the learning category, you will definitely not lose because paying 88 ringgit, you can get like property updates, project sharing, analysis, the hot deals in town for the month. Of course, it's just 88 ringgit. So, and then we will keep our presentation short, concise and valuable. All our presentation, we will just spend not more than 30 minutes. So just bear with us 30 minutes and see whether 88 ringgit is worth it or not. And 88 ringgit is a year membership. And then you get updates and project sharing every month. Sometimes we do 2 times a month. Imagine that you can actually leverage our research and analysis to choose a project to buy. So 88 ringgit for a year membership. In a year, every month, if we share at least one project, you have 12 projects. Imagine that if you need to study 12 projects yourself, and if one of the month we share at least 2, you're actually learning 24 projects. And of course, we don't just share 24 projects. You can also ask us questions whereby we also study a lot of other projects and then shortlist some projects to be shared in the hot deals TalkProp session. So let me repeat one more time. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm your trusted property investment consultant that do analysis for you. If you don't buy, it is totally fine. The most important thing is that I am here to assist you to find the most suitable deals. I'm not here to sell you anything. Okay, shall we? Let's begin.
All right. So now we are done with the briefing. Let's begin our first slide. So what are we looking at tonight? What our hot deals are looking at tonight? We are learning. First thing, 7 rules of how to analyze property. Second things, area outlook. Third thing, project sharing and learning, because this platform is actually started because of I want to share more and learn more through this mingling or leveraging on other resources. Because let's say I know five area or 5 project, you maybe some other people know 5 or so. If you gather 50 people, 50 find 50, 250 project, definitely we can find something which is very good, right? So we leverage against each other. Of course, I will be okay doing my homework. That's why will share what I have, what is my finding, and what is my finding, and then we actually compare our notes. So in the project sharing, we will also highlight what's good, what's bad. Then rental analysis, whether we are buying for own stay or whether we're buying for investment. Because if it's like own stay one day, maybe 5 years later, 6 years later, so I move to another location to work, maybe move to Johor or Penang, I can still rent it out because I actually done the rental analysis. the property is easy to rent, and then the rate is okay. If I buy for investment, of course, even best. Then, of course, we also need to understand who are the competitors in the surrounding areas or even in the neighboring areas, because we don't just focus into one project. We also need to know what are the options available, so that same to us when we are looking for property to buy or rent, right? We will always look at the surrounding of the property, see what other option, what are the better option that we have, right? And of course, as hot deals, so stay to the end to actually enjoy and see what are the hot deals that we wanted to share this month. So next, before we start, let's learn together. In terms of like investment, we have options like property, we have business, we have share, we have unit trust, right? So let's do a simple comparison for just a comparison for this purpose. Every time our session, actually we will also do a learning session together. So first, property allows you to leverage. What is the meaning of leverage? A simple concept is like, if the product is 10 ringgit, I pay 1 ringgit and then the bank borrow me 9 ringgit to buy that product. So that's what leverage. I can use other people's money to buy the investment product that I want. Then the next one, control over it, means what? When I got the key of the property, I can choose how do I actually gain income out of it. For example, we can rent it out. We can rent it out, like rent it up unit, rent it up per the room, rent it up by short-term stay Airbnb, right? So you can control the how do we operate the business, because rented property investment, you should also treat it as a business. Because how do you renovate it? Who are the target tenant that you have? How do we market and get this tenant in? How do we filter tenant and so on, right? Then lastly, it's about cashing out profits. So property allows you to cash out profit without selling it. How good is that, right? You have a hen that lay golden eggs. You don't want to sell the hen, you want to continue get the golden eggs and also keep the hen. So you have both. So you can actually refinance when the property has certain capital appreciation, and then you think that it's already mature. You want to move this fund to maybe some other areas. You want to invest in you want to use this as capital to start your business. You want to fund your children education, because after all, it's a gain. You want to invest into other businesses that give you a better return. Maybe some other share, maybe some other unit trust. Yes, you can use it, but you can still keep the property. But how about share and unit trust? There's no leverage. If you want to buy a 10 ringgit product, you have to pay 10 ringgit to own it, so that you cannot borrow from the bank 9 ringgit to buy the 10 ringgit thing. There's no such thing. That's why it's no leverage. First important point. Second thing is that for share or unit trust also, you can't really control how the business being done. You cannot tell the company, let's say you buy into the company, any of the shareholding company, any of the public business company, you cannot tell the CEO, I like you to do the business like this way. I like you to operate like this way. I like the fund manager in the X unit trust to invest into this industry. You cannot do so, right? You have no control, although you are shareholder or maybe you are the unit trust holder. No, they have totally no control about how the management runs the show. And then similarly, both doesn't offers you to cash out or profit. Of course, you have dividend. You cannot hold at the same time, you still get your profit. You cannot. When you want to collect profit, you have to sell some of the units or maybe sell all of the units. So this is the three key difference between property, shares, and unit trust. Then the next one, property. When we go into property, right, you have to understand two things. Property, there's primary market and secondary market. Primary is new property, secondary is completed properties. So let's see the next slide. What's the comparison? Sub-sale versus undercon. Let's say option one is a sub-sale property. Price 600,000, acquisition cost easily 20%, down payment, legal fees, stamping, valuation and stuff. Equivalent roughly more or less is 120,000. Then assuming return in 10 years is about 5% increase per year. Let's say just for the illustration purpose. So you get 300K. So out of 300K, right, what is your return on capital? 300K over 120 because you acquire 120K. So your return on capital is 250%, which is 25% per year for sub-sale. which is a quite good return as well. So how about undercon properties? Same price. The interest rate is 2.6%. So your monthly payment is about 1,300 a month. And then acquisition cost is about 1,300 times 3 plus 6, about 9,300 lah, roughly lah. So we don't go into the question about how this figure come first. We just you just follow me about this how do we compare the undercon and the subsales first. Subsequently, you will understand the figures as well. So assuming the return is the same for 10 years, like 5%, you gain 300,000. But what's the difference in terms of return of capital? Now that your return is like the capital appreciation is 300,000. But what's the main difference? You can see the main difference now, your acquisition cost reduces significantly. So when you calculate your return on capital, 300,000 divided by 9.3 thousand, you get 3,000 over percent, which means that 300 over percent return per year. How good is that, right? So a lot of people actually misunderstood. They only take the percentage of the property capital appreciation. For example, like 600,000 next year, if 1 year gain like 30,000, you assume 5%. But you also have to calculate your acquisition cost, how much you pay out to acquire the property, because property allows you to leverage. Remember in the previous slide, allows you to leverage. So that means buying a 10 ringgit unit trust is not equivalent to buying a 10 ringgit property, because you can borrow, you can use other people's money. So that's why you need to calculate not just the difference in terms of the capital appreciation, but you also need to calculate the return on capital, how much capital you put in. For example, a business also same thing. The business like is 100,000. You put in 5,000, and then at the end of the day, right, you get 30,000 back. From the 5,000, you have to take the 30,000 divided by the 5,000. So you get 6, right? 6 times 100%, 600%. So it's like the return is always being benchmarked to your capital. So after understanding this chart, right, that means if you are able to reduce your acquisition cost significantly, even though your return could be 1%, 2%, 3%, the growth of the property price, like 100,000, right? You buy a property 100,000. After a few years, it will only grow like 10%. That means 10,000. But initially, you may just use 1,000 to own this property. So 1,000, 10,000 gain over 1,000, how many times? 10 times. 10 times time in terms of percentage is 1,000%. So you need to actually know when you play sub-sales and undercon, right? What is the major difference? Acquisition cost, keyword of this part is acquisition cost. If you can lower down your acquisition cost as much as possible, that means you can increase your return on investment or return on capital. You can actually play around with this. The higher the acquisition cost, the lower the return of capital. So let's go to the next slide and see how does it fare, property versus EPF, some sort like unit trust, but it's like a compulsory contribution. Okay, how does it compare between property and also EPF? Of course, EPF, everyone has it, right? So how does it compare between property and also EPF? Because EPF is very common, everyone will probably need to contribute to EPF already, right? So how does it compare? Let's say we are comparing an undercon property, 600,000 price, then acquisition cost is about 10,000 because it's like undercon, so comes up with all those rebates things, right? You will just only maybe need to pay 10,000. Most of the project actually need to pay less than 10,000. So assuming the growth is 3% per year, averagingly, just in 10 years time, just 30% grow only. Then of course we need to renovate. When we buy, maybe it's a partial furnished unit, right? Then you maybe just add up 20,000, 25,000. And then why times 2 is that assuming in 10 years time, we actually need to renovate it 2 times. So that's why I put 25 times 2. Then of course, we also have refurbishment. Every year we allocate 3,000 per year. Then monthly cost, maybe monthly cost, right? Rental minus your cost, rental minus your installment. You still need to pay fork out 500 a month, assuming if your rental is actually cash flow positive, then monthly cost is 0. So of course, when I do analysis, I like to do conservatively, so that I know that if it's like ideal case, good case, and the worst case, what is the numbers look like? So total acquisition and plus the holding cost lah, 10,000 acquisition, 50,000 renovation, 30,000 like refurbishment for 10 years, 60,000 for its monthly cost. Monthly cost times into times 12 months is 6,000. 6,000 times 10 years will be 60,000. So 60 plus 30, 90 plus 10 is 100, 150 total cost here. So after 10 years, property just grew 30%. Then you would think, 30% only, it's like very less leh. Then actually no, you have to calculate further. 600,000 times 30% is 180K. So you gain 180K already after 10 years. Remember about the return of capital. You have to calculate the return of capital over the acquisition cost. But of course, I like conservative calculation. I even put in the holding cost, because holding cost, you don't pay it at day one, you pay in progressively, like year 1, year 2, year 3. But if you give me conservative calculation, I want to put in 150,000. So what would be my return on capital over the 10 years time? So 10 years time, my return on capital 120%. So that means 1 year I gain 12%, right? So this one will be a very conservative calculation, 12%. And of course, I also don't need to pay 150,000 at one time. So this is 120% increase, 10 years from, of course, 150,000 to 180,000. But it's actually, I actually start off with acquisition cost of 10,000 only. How about EPF? We compare with EPF. Let's say, assuming we put 90,000 into EPF today, the growth is 6%. Average, just take higher growth, 6%. After 10 years, total is 60%. Then you will say, of course, cannot calculate like this. You have cumulative, you have a compound interest. Okay, we calculate, assume, and round it out to 100% total. So 100% increase, when you put in 90,000, how much would it be after 10 years? You'll get 180,000, 100% increase, so times 2. So what do you see here? The difference is the acquisition cost versus 10,000 versus 90,000. I'm not saying that this one is the most accurate comparison. Of course, during EPF, you can also do monthly contribution. That one will be different. But I am highlighting the difference between the acquisition cost again. You need to put 90,000 and then you get like 6% per annum increase or gain, right? To go to 180,000. But for property, you pay 10,000 to start off first, and then subsequently you pay progressively. At the end of the day, you also end up earning 180,000. What I want to bring out today is that when you do calculation for property, you don't calculate based on like this, the 30% things. It looks very less, but you calculate based on your return of capital. So you see 100% in EPF and 120% in property. And then property, definitely you need to know how to choose, of course. How do you reduce your acquisition costs? How do you manage manage your holding costs to be low? Because holding cost is also a cost. Maintenance costs, refurbishment costs, renovation costs. So what I want to highlight in this slide is that acquisition cost plays a very important role in your return of capital. One is can use other people's money. One is like 1-to-1. You put in 10 ringgit, your gain is calculated based on the 10 ringgit because you do not leverage. Okay. So before we go into property investing, always know what is your objective, what's your goal. Whatever it is, whether you buy property today, you want to invest into share, you want to invest into business, you want to invest into unit trust, Bitcoin, gold, whatever it is, you have to have a reason. So into property, also the same thing. Some people buy because of status. They like trophy purchase like KLCC area, Mont Kiara area, and so on. Some people buy for own stay, practicality. Some people buy because they want to upgrade. They are married already. Some people also buy because they want to downsize, because they grow up, the children grow up already, like 18 years old, 19 years old, go to the university, study abroad. So left with the parents only. Parents in the maybe a single store, double story terrace, too big. In terms of security, in terms of cleaning, also is a hassle. So move downsize to maybe condo, easier to carry stuff because got lift, right? Then fourth things, maybe people buy for their children. Because recently I also sold a few properties because the parents wanted to buy it for the children because the children couldn't afford that big amount of money, right? Then next, they also buy because of like to build their children's education fund. Some of my client is like, they plan very far ahead. The client need that money at age 18, but they buy it today. Buy it today, maybe their children is just like 2 years old, 3 years old. So they have enough duration, like 15 years, 18 years, to accumulate the money to actually fund their education in the future. That way also works. Then, of course, there are people buy for kind of saving or retirement fund. For example, you also buy certain things like maybe unit trust, you have a savings plan or something to actually build your retirement fund apart from your PRS, apart from your EPF. So number 7 is that people also buy property to hedge against inflation. Why? The 500, okay, let's say we say 10 ringgit. The 10 ringgit in 1990 is different from the 10 ringgit is 2000. And it's not, it's different from the 10 ringgit in 2020. So the 10 ringgit, let's say you buy a property, not say 10 ringgit to buy a property. You buy a property, let's say worth 200,000 in 1990 or maybe 2000. Would it worth the same in 2020? No, because it has capital appreciation and also the rental that you can collect from owning this property. So the 200,000 in 2000 is not the same as having the 200,000 cash from 2000 to 2021 this today, because it's definitely worth less than 200,000. But property is different. Property gives you rental and also capital appreciation. That's why some people, especially doctors, a lot of my clients also bought many properties because they love to hedge or actually protect their fund. So number 8 is actually also something like hedging against inflation, but some people also buy because want to protect their wealth, protect their money. Some people buy because they definitely know the 500,000 cash today will definitely worth maybe half 10 years or 15 years down the road. But it is different if you have 500,000 in assets. 500,000 in assets, it will grow in value. Of course, you have to pick the right products as well. Then some people buy because they have already into business. They are spending quite a number of fund in business, and then they are doing okay. They want to diversify into other area. They could choose property, they could choose share, they could choose not insurance, unit trust. So they want to diversify just in case, like one day maybe business is up and down. So when they go down, at least they have something as a backup plan. Maybe if the business go down, I got also clients saying that business go down and then they need cash to actually flow to turn around. We find the property, come out with a fund, then actually they can still go on with their business. So you can actually play with a lot of things with property because you can still refi. Then of course, rental, you want to collect rental. Yes, so some people likes to be a landlord. You own the property, maybe you buy cash or buy using the loan, and then you collect rental. Of course, there are more investment reasons, not just this 10. Just I want to highlight, there's a lot of different investment reasons that someone can make investment into property, into unit trust, or any other products. So in our property investment, right, we need to make investment strategy. We cannot just dump in. That one is gamble. You cannot just buy big, small, or go to Genting to just risk your money. So you need to have strategy. So in property investment, we also need to have strategy. our strategy into property investing, of course, there are 7 areas that we look at. The first area is price. Whether it is like 20% or 30% below the completed properties. How do we compare? We don't compare asking price, but we compare transacted price. So we know the actual value of the property in that area compared to what you are buying, so that you know whether it's like above market value, equivalent to the market value, or below market value. So this is one of the criteria that we are looking, but definitely not strictly following just one criteria to make the buying decision. We have other criteria to make the investment strategy comprehensive. The second thing is about cash flow. Your rental, how much? Then your cost, how much? Can it cover your installment 100%, or can it just cover 70%? Third thing, you are buying location, right? You need to know the product that you're buying. Is there any better product in better location? That's why you need to understand the concept of tiering. Maybe you are buying a product at the price of a tier 1 property, but you are buying at the tier 2 location. So that means you are making bad buying decision. So you must also compare in terms of like tiering. If you are buying tier 1 location, right, you need to compare. Are you paying tier 1 location? Are you paying tier 1 price for a tier 2 location, or you're paying tier 2 price for a tier 1 location? It's different, okay? Then number 4, catalyst. Catalyst is very, very important. What makes property gain in value is because of a few things, few important things. Like you must choose at least got 2. Because if this one didn't materialize, if this one delay or due to some of the changes, right, that one really didn't happen, at least you have another backup plan. So you need to buy into an area whereby it has mega developments. It would develop that place into like a central business district. That's why you call CBD. Why is it like that? We will explain more in the later slide. And then, of course, second thing is like sustainable township. Sustainable township like Desa Park, like Taman Tun, like Bandar Utama, and so on. The third thing is that the good catalyst would be an MRT or LRT station, not the track, okay? You can see, but you cannot use. It's not considered as catalyst, yeah? Then number 4, it should be shopping malls. It could be like neighborhood malls or even like a mega malls, because it brings convenience to the area, brings amenities to the area. Number 5, you have to also evaluate the demand and the supply. You have the supply of the units already. So you need to know who you can rent it to, or who will buy your property in the future, like 5 years, 10 years time. Number 6, when you are buying for rental purpose, you need to buy a product that gives you at least 3 rental strategies. Like what I said just now, rental you can do by unit, you can do by Airbnb short term, you can do by room, right? At least 3. But if you only target a place that you can only do Airbnb because there's no local renting the room or renting the unit, then you are just risking it. If Airbnb, like now during the pandemic time, you cannot do Airbnb, or maybe the Airbnb demand is very low, then how? You don't have any other plan already. So number 7, maturity time. What does it mean? That means, right, when you buy into that project, you must buy into a new area that comes with a lot of different catalysts. If you buy into a mature area, you can buy into a mature area, but there are things that you need to pay attention to. We will share about this in our second sharing, about if you buy into a mature area, what are the things you must have in that area, okay? Then maturity time means that when you buy into area, right, in like 5 years time, you must be able to see some improvement, some significant improvement to the area. It could be a mega developments being developed halfway, or maybe 40-50%. It cannot be fully developed, because fully developed, that means they will already price in all the premiums inside the pricing. So you have to buy at the early stage of the mega developments. So in 5 years times, you can see some effect of the development. Maybe it brings in like big companies, it has more retails, it's more convenient that you can shop grocery, you can makan, you have entertainment there. So 5 years time, you have to see. If you buy too long, for example, you are buying like Bandar Malaysia, depending on Bandar Malaysia, depending on MRT Line 3. This is something, if you buy too long time to mature, it has uncertainty. Uncertainty, of course, political, uncertainty in terms of plan, budget, uncertainty of like Bandar Malaysia is also like the development has been delayed for so long, and then there's no certainty when the mega developments will comes in. So if you buy because of that, also your product is just a normal product because you don't get benefited from this kind of mega development. There's no spillover effect of migration of work population to that area. Then you can rent to them. There's no such thing because that product, that development haven't even start. Like MRT3 and Bandar Malaysia haven't even start. So you cannot bank on this kind of project that requires very long maturity time. Okay. So next, I want to do an area outlook. Do you recognize this place or not? 1999, 1999 March. Do you recognize where is this place or not? Can you guess, make a guess based on the the iconic tower in the middle of the photo? Okay, let's see. Where is this place? Kampung Kerinci. What is Kampung Kerinci? Where is Kampung Kerinci? It is Bangsa South today. 22 years ago, it's called Kampung Kerinci, and then it doesn't have this kind of office mega developments, multiple elements into one area. They have residential, they have offices, they have hotels and stuff, right? So this is the area outlook of Bangsa South. What I want to highlight here is mega developments have all in one. They have improved access. They have a lot of budget to build accessibility, highways, flyover. They build the flyover for, now they are still building. You see the Duke Highway and then the Kerinci Highway that's building a flyover directly to punch into Bangsa South. Currently, if you come from PJ area, right, you use Kerinci, you have to go to Mid Valley and U-turn to go to Bangsa South, right? Or you need to go to the PJ Old Town area, the Gasing side, and then go up the flyover, make a U-turn to turn into Bangsa South area. You cannot from Kerinci straight away fly over. So what I want to say is that mega developments, right, they have a lot of budget, of course, a lot of connection to get approvals, to build roads, to build connectivities. Then it will make more people feel that more convenient to stay there. They want to come into that place to stay and work, right? So are you able to turn back time to buy Bangsa South? Definitely not lah. Bangsa South now is like worth 900 to 1,000 per square feet. The lowest studio, 600 over square feet, also is selling about 600 over 1,000, like Novum, right? So it's like not so worth it lah, because it's like pretty much fully developed already, Bangsa South. So you don't buy into like a tail end of the mega developments. Look for something better elsewhere. So next slide, I want to give you a snapshot of Pantai Panorama. This is the transacted value from 2002 to 2013. I'm not sure why it doesn't have any transaction, but I want to highlight is that you can see the jump in terms of the per square feet price or not. What happened between like this 9 years, 10 years, right? It is because 2005 UOA decided want to build Bangsa South. And of course, by 2013, they would have already enjoyed the benefit of the convenience, the sustainable living area, working area in that place by 2013. So even for a very old high rise, it gone up from 181 to 539. How many percent? How many percent is it? Like 200 to 200 plus percent in 10 years. So just now we are taking a projection of like 3%. In 10 years, 30%. So because I like conservative, so in the most conservative, it still makes sense. I think we can actually put in the investment. So next. So what are the similarities of this area? What are the similarities? Mont Kiara, Desa Park, KL Eco City, Bangsa South, Sunway Velocity. Why are these the properties in this location are so high. Why? Can you still buy this location? Can depending on your price and the entry price. If you can find a good deals, by all means, but it's hardly to come by. Why? Because this area is already developed. The price of the convenience, the amenities, the neighborhood, everything is already priced into the property price. So you maybe once a while you were able to see some bargain deals lah, but chances is very low because like everyone likes that place, high demand. So whenever there's bargain deals, right, you also may not even get a hand to it. So why are these property prices in this location are so high? Actually, I try to summarize it into 4 main points. Spending power. Spending power is very important. If you have this kind of product, right, you're selling this kind of product, but people cannot afford it. Cannot, right? People must be able to afford it. This place must have that kind of income, high earning power to actually spend onto the area here. Whether it's aesthetic, whether it's like grocers, whether it's cafe, whether it's like bar drinking area. Second thing is that demand. When you have that high income group there, then people are able to spend, people afford, then of course they got demand. The third thing is that similarity is that they have good access also. Each of this area you can see whether got LRT or no MRT or LRT and MRT lah. Mont Kiara doesn't have MRT, LRT, but why is it like so expensive? Desa Park, same thing. No LRT, no MRT, same thing. But they are accessible with minimum 2 to 3 express or highways. KL Eco City is just next to Mid Valley, so got spillover effect. And of course, it also have the Abdullah Hukum LRT. So it makes accessibility better. Sunway Velocity, same thing. They are building something all in one. Hospital, residence, commercials, hotel, and then it has linked to LRT, MRT. So that's why all this area is all very, very, very expensive. It's like 900 per square foot to 1,000 per square foot. And lastly, convenience. All this area, no matter where is it, whether it's like close to KL city center or not, they are convenient to get to be like to enjoy a sustainable living experience over there. Even if you stay in Desa Park has its own grocer, school, hospital, leisure. I mean, you can go for jogging, exercising in that particular township without going to other places. You have cafes, you have a lot of F&B choices in Waterfront and Arcadia, right? So not necessary that every time you invest, right, you need to have MRT, LRT. You have to look into that whole picture, the overall picture of it. Okay, then the next one. Why mega developments? Sustainable living, infrastructure upgrades such as accessibility. You can see like Bangsa South, right? You can see like Desa Park City. Last time when you want to go to Desa Park City, of course, you need to go through the Old Road and the LDP. Now you have Duke 2, right? It's easier to go to places like Mont Kiara, Hartamas, KL City Center. And of course, mega developments, right, comes with higher demand and strong catalysts to push up your property's price. So that is why mega developments, for example, case study, KL Central, TRX, Bangsa South, and the coming one maybe Pantai Central Park. What are the similarities between all these 4 mega developments? You can see the development size is very similar. KL Central, very similar to TRX. Bangsa South is very similar to Pantai Central Park. So in all the first 3 locations, can you still buy properties at like 400,000, 500,000, 600,000? Unless you buy studio in like South Link in Bangsa South, yes, you can get like 400,000. If you were to look for a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, can you still buy around 400,000, 500,000, 600,000? No, no, right? So maybe we want to look into area like Pantai Central Park because it is still new. So far, it has built like 2 high-rise like Sequoia and also Inwood. What other opportunity can we find in this area? Let's go further. So this is Pantai Dalam, which is also Pantai Central Park in the future. What it has also is an all-in-one access master plan MSC status, similarly to Bangsa South. So imagine if we were to apply the same recipe like how Bangsa South developed by UOA, the same recipe will be applied into this area by IJM. IJM is not the new player. It has been so established that they developed Seremban 2. They are the master developer for Seremban 2 until recent years. Then Sime Darby came in, then Matrix came in to develop their township as well. But IJM has been there for so many years, like easily 20 years to develop Seremban 2. And then you can also see how well they run the like in Penang. So whether they are able to pull off this kind of mega developments, I think that is not an issue at all. So what I want to highlight here, right, we can actually ride on or leverage on this kind of mega developments to help push property price. Whether we can find something good deal in Pantai Central Park or just surrounding Pantai Central Park, because it is a spillover effect. When you buy Bangsa South, when you buy nearby to Bangsa South, also you can get the spillover effect. So question is, if we apply back the same recipe, can we get back the same result? Of course, you have to go through just how I mentioned before, the track record of the developer, because now it's like not UOA doing, but IJM doing. But IJM is doing as well, like UOA as well. So we have no worries about the track record of the developers, right? And then are we buying something above market value? There's no demand there. Are we buying? Are we able to rent? So we study further. So this is the master plan of Pantai Central Park. Imagine Pantai Dalam, this area, undeveloped, transform into this area. It's just like how Kampung Kerinci transformed into Bangsa South. If imagine 10 years time, 12 years time, roughly around that time frame, right? All this has been completed. Do you think if you own a property here, you have to worry about the demand? No, right? Because a lot more working population, high income group will comes in, because it's also riding on the MSC status. You can ride on the MSC status, bring in more companies come in, they enjoy the tax incentive. So to come in with a high income population, where do they want to stay? Either they want to stay in Bangsa South or they want to stay in this area, because next to this area, there's no other sustainable master plan township that they can choose in this area. And then this area is so strategic that it's considered the city in the city, something like Bangsa South. You can get to everywhere. We will show you the accessibility after this. So our investment strategy revisit. Price, whether it's like 20 to 30% lower than the completed. Cash flow, can we cover 70%? Tier, are we buying at the right price at the right tier? Catalyst, are we buying anything with central business district, sustainable township, MRT, LRT, shopping malls, minimum 2. Then demand and supply. Multiple rental strategy. You can rent at room, unit, Airbnb, right? You can, then maturity time. In 5 years down the road, you can see some significant changes into that area, so that it will bring up the property price.